Hello everyone and welcome back to another Batman Miniature Game 3rd edition battle report for the channel, and today we have the Court of Owls going up against Joker. Bit of a special Joker crew, but we can cover that in more detail when we take a look at the specifics. On the table layout you can see before you, so without further ado, let's get started. So here is the 6 models making up the Court of Owls crew this week. As always with the Court of Owls, you always have a bunch of money to spend on upgrades and such. I'm going to cheat and read them off the app right now because there's way too many. Most of them are on the Gotham Butcher, although I guess we'll cover who's in the list first. So we have the Court leading them. Gotham Butcher as a free agent. Then from left to right we have O'Malley's son, Ephraim Newhouse, because you basically gotta. The Talon and Dementor. So, Gotham Butcher, he's got a grapple gun, he's got genetic alteration, which is worth pointing out, it no longer gives you fast, it just gives you straight 2 movement. Yeah, plus 2 movement. That's because the new fast roll definition is too powerful. But he has genetic alteration, so that buffs up his base movement by 2. He's got a camo vest, so he's got stealth, give him a bit more survivability. Ancient training for Master Fighter, and Hunter training for sneaking. So a lot of stuff on him. The Talon's got some spare blades to give him more throwing knives, and genetic alteration to give him the plus 2 movement. Dementor has genetic alteration to give him plus 2 movement. And Ephraim Newhouse has spare blades and a camo vest. And I think that covers everything. Always a lot of upgrades for Court of Owls, so if I forget to mention anything, know that it is being used. And here is the Joker crew being led by the Titan infused version of Joker. We'll get into specifics about that in a second. Joined by Punchline as his sidekick, Borgin the Cursed, Thug 6 from the Back to Gotham box there, Paratroopers 1, 2, 3, might be forgetting which one is which, but 1, 2 and 3, and then a little gaggy rebirth version at the back there. So this is the old miniature for the Titan infused Joker, which has recently just been given an upgraded version that looks awesome. It'll be shipping out about the middle of December, so it's not out yet, but got the old model, so why not use that, try the new stats. In fact, we have here we are. This is a 3rd edition ized version of his old stat card for the old miniature. Used to be 130 rep, etc, etc, and had all those skills you see here. This is the new version that's releasing in December. Almost the same stat line, but his claws are much better with added rules, and his rules in general are just much better. He's also cheaper. He's going to drop down by 15 rep. So we're going to try out the new rules with the old mini and see how it goes. Worth mentioning ahead of time, he's got the like flies to me rule, which Bane Unleashed has, so when he's being attacked his defense counts as whatever the strength of the attacker is. He's got a bunch of unique rules, he's still got luck, he's got mindless monsters, so that could give him some free attacks at points. He's got really huge, so he ignores 3 stun, which is just as well because willpower is definitely this guy's weak point, because he doesn't have desensitized. He's got super jump, Chaos Agent still, so he is giving out Trickster, whereas this one did not do that, worth mentioning. So yeah, he's better. He's lost 1 base attack, but that's not so bad considering a 15 rep discount. So we'll see how this new Titan Joker does. So here we are at deployment, all set up and good to go, but we have a lot of stuff to cover, some pre-game movement, and above all else we also forgot to show who is which colour of Audacity marker. Joker's crew, which is on your left, is the black and yellow, Court of Owls on your right in the red and black. And it will be the Joker crew taking first activation, and the Court of Owls do have some passes if they want. We can cover the cards in play. The Court of Owls basically had like the ideal starting hand, which let them play a bunch of phase 2s and 1 phase 1 card. Joker's crew isn't playing any. So Die Hard came out as our phase 1, it's being played on the Talon, who will show properly, but he's up there. Then, just to put it in play, the Court's Edict was put in play, so if this round 2 people marked as prey get killed, this will score for 3, exceptionally unlikely, especially in turn 1, but hey, it's out of hand. Then Owl's Night, you put a marker on it for people dying, prey dying adds more, and if there's more on this than enemy assessment markers, it will score at the end of the round. Also very unlikely, but just clearing it out of hand. And then finally, Gotham is ours, another phase 2. Target 2 senior elements, the opponent chooses another, place a friendly assessment marker within 4 of each one, and then at the end of the round, have at least 1 friendly assessment marker within 4 inches of all 3 scenery elements. So with that, let's take a little look around the table. We'll cover all that. Have to cover where the owl markers are as well. 3 owl markers. One of them is smack dab there. So down here we've got Ephraim Newhouse with Audacity, Gotham Butcher with Audacity, Dementor, and the second L marker is up there. Got the Talon and the O'Malley son over there. Talon's got Audacity. The Court has hidden and has deployed over there. And there's one of the markers selected by that car. The car over there has another one of those suspect markers placed by Gotham is Ours. And we come around this end of the table, all of the paramilitary Joker crew have undercover, so they're all slightly out of deployment. The one with the rocket launcher there, guy with a knife who has Audacity, although keep in mind henchmen with Audacity are subject to change. Guy with the gun up there on the roof as well. Thug 6 down here, and back here, this tree was selected as the third scenery element, so the third suspect marker has been placed there. Punchline is there with Audacity, Gaggy next to Joker who has Audacity, and I think we're missing an L marker. Oh yeah, it's around this side of the building. There it is, right smack dab there. I think that covers everything in terms of pre-game. With that, we can jump into Battle Round 1, Joker's crew being led by Titan Joker using his new rules, going first. So it was little Gaggy that got the game started without Audacity, but obviously right next to the boss man himself. He moved up to the bench there, put down a suspect marker, except it was not a suspect marker, it was a turn 1, action 1, Stinky Fish, where it doesn't look fresh. So that is in play, and now it would be over to the Court of Owls. They are free to pass, they've got a couple of passes if they want to, but let's see. The court did in fact activate and went with O'Malley's son. No Audacity on him though, just out of range of where the court ended up. But he moved up next to the court there for next turn, and the only thing he really did of note during his turn is he put into play the court secures bases, and that's just to make sure that it scores nice and early. When this is put into play, choose one friendly L marker. At the end of enemy activations, if there's no enemy models within 4 of it, add 1. When it hits 3, score it for 2. And the one that's been placed well back from any Joker's crew, that's going to guarantee the score, essentially. Thug 6 from the Back to Gotham box activated for Joker's crew. No Audacity next to the big man himself though for that free inspired manipulate, which he used after walking backwards to get rid of the suspect marker next to the tree there, just to guarantee more or less that Gotham is Ours won't score for the court this turn. It actually also scores Joker a card. It scores a So Long It's Been a Gas, the secondary criteria of the score. When a friendly model reveals an enemy suspect marker, choose one of your models, place a friendly suspect marker in contact with it, and suffer enervating 2, score for 2. So the rocket launcher wielding guy, the paramilitary guy over here, has been forced to put down a friendly suspect marker and is suffering enervating 2. Worth it for the 2 points though. The court used the pass, so it was right back over to Joker. Paramilitary 1? Yeah, 1. The one with the knife, the machete, activated with Audacity. He didn't really use the Audacity though. He moved up and has put down a suspect marker. He's in danger where he is for sure, but because the court is right over there, he met the criteria for let them in on the joke. On the subject of this card, incidentally, the new rules for the new Titan Joker, if you don't have one of these in your hand when he activates, you can actually fish for one from your deck and shuffle it afterwards, obviously, which I guess is because at the finale of the Arkham game that is him kind of letting Batman in on the joke, which is, it's a fun rule. Either way though, for placing a suspect marker within 4 of an enemy and having the Trickster's trait which Chaos Agent gives him, that scores for 2. Both players discard a card. Ephraim Newhouse activated for the court next and did make use of his primary target rule, which lets him count one enemy suspect as friendly a turn. But let's cover what he actually did first. He moved up next to the van here and then chucked his throwing knives into the paramilitary with the rocket launcher here, losing 1 to his bulletproof vest. The other 2 beat his defense 3 though, and thunked him for 2 blood. Also keep in mind we're using the updated Court of Owl cards. If you have the original 2nd edition, it's not just a case of upgrading their movement stat to make them 3rd edition compliant, they all got rebalanced, so use the app and print those out. But during his turn, we come over here. Thanks to him being able to count an enemy suspect as friendly, the one that just got put down was counted as friendly in order to play an Owl's Tail as a free resource. Choose an enemy model within 4 of a friendly L marker and a friendly suspect. Remove that suspect. That model is now marked as prey. And presumably that does mean you remove the enemy one because he counts it as friendly, which is overpowered and why you have to basically have Ephraim in every court list to give them a chance. So, also using this new, where was this from again? It's from an old 2nd edition pack, I think. It's a little owl mask. That's what we're going to use now to mark who is marked as prey. So, that paramilitary is marked as prey, and the suspect marker is gone. Forgot to mention, when the Court of Owl suspect marker got removed, the court itself took 1 damage because of the intel support that it has. I think that covers everything. He didn't do anything else with his turn. The L marker was right smack dab next to him. I think with the turn we're about to get, the court secret bases ticks up and that will score. The Joker paramilitary with the rocket launcher activated stayed where he was. The only thing he did in his turn was an attack action. Used his 1 gas rocket he has, which it does enervating 2 poison. Shot it at Ephraim Newhouse's face. It exploded on him. So now he, much like the person who fired, has Enervate 2, but with the added benefit of also poison. So that's pretty nasty. The Talon activated, also totally forgot that he had undercover, so he could definitely have been a bit further forwards, but it didn't matter for what he did. He walked up to behind that car there and chucked throwing knives at the paramilitary marked as prey. Got him with all three. This one doesn't have a bulletproof vest, which shouldn't surprise you given that he's shirtless. So got him for 3 blood. He's got 2 left. Yeah, he's got 2 health left. But I don't think there's anyone over there that can actually hurt him this turn, so he might get away with it. Borgin the Cursed activated and moved up his 8 inches, I think. Yeah, 8 inches. He has Mindless Monster, so he would have been able to do a free attack afterwards, but no one within range. He's also stupid, so he can't do Manipulate, so there's nothing else he can do this turn. However, very quickly, at the end of the last turn for the Court of Owls there, when the paramilitary got bled by the throwing knives thrown from the Talon, Psychopaths was played for 1 resource point. When a model suffers blood damage, you can use this as a resource to place 2 attack ups on a friendly model. So Joker has been given that, which means the first time he rolls attack dice, he's going to be counting his attack 6, which is pretty scary. So a little awkward to get a camera angle on, but the court itself activated the representation of them on the table. They put down a suspect marker which is outside of 4 of the ones around them, and because it is within 4 of a model with 1 blood damage, the paramilitary who's getting stabbed, that meets the criteria for the Shadow's Claw, which is hopefully in focus. So we are. Place a suspect within 4 inches of an enemy model that has at least 1 blood damage, so it's scored 4-2. They can't do anything else. They didn't have Audacity. They can't move anyway. They have to teleport with a special action. So at least they did something though. Joker Paramilitary 2 activated, the one with the assault rifle, red dot. It has the actual assault rule, double blood. Activated with Audacity. He moved up to the edge of the building here and decided to take advantage of the Talon not being an acrobat to take some shots at him using the assault, so -1 to his chance to hit as opposed to losing dice for moving and firing. And he rolled really well. 3 hits got through for 6 blood. The Talon lived with 1 HP, so the Die Hard and its chance of scoring is hanging in there by a thread. The Gotham Butcher activated and made use of the grapple gun purchased for him from funding, along with the genetic alteration, giving him a total of 18 inches, ignoring height differences and whatnot. He shot across the table, round the building here, or over it as well if you prefer, into base to base with the paramilitary marked as prey. Neither of them efforted. He's doing blood stun with his claws, and he managed to get 3 hits through for 3 blood, 3 stun, which is enough that the paramilitary has perished. That is a prey removed. So that's 3 markers on Owl's Knight, and also means Talon's Claw can score for removing a model marked as prey as a casualty. So that is a good round for the Gotham Butcher. Does put him out of place a little bit, but the Murderer trait kicks in now, rather than the new definition of what it does. So he has 1 free effort for the rest of the game, and +1 movement for the rest of the game, and it's cumulative as well. Punchline activated. I think that's the second last activation for Joker's crew, maybe third last. The man himself has to go for sure. And she moved up so that she was within 8 of the Talon, and she has poisoned throwing knives which she chucked at him. Got him for 2, it would also have poisoned. So that is a big loss for the court. They lost the Talon. He can come back if the Court's Edict doesn't score, which it's probably not gonna. So there's a chance it'll come back into hand and he can respawn via that. But he is gone. He was poisoned in the process of what killed him. So Joker's crew is scoring a seasoning the mix for making a casualty of someone who's poisoned. And that also means that the Die Hard can't score, so it's just getting discarded right now. Last activation in turn 1 for the court was Dementor. He has Unstoppable Monster, so he has to move 2 inches in a straight line when he activates. He has 2 extra inches from Genetic Alteration and 10 inch base, so he was moving pretty far. And that gave him enough to get within 1 of Borgin, so he unleashed his sickle attack, Blood Stun, Sharp, Bleed 2, I think. Borgin didn't do any efforts, but Dementor put in 2 just to try, and he's going to heal that at the end of a turn anyway. Only got 2 hits through, wasn't great. So 2 blood, 2 stun to Borgin, and no cards scored on either side. So to end off the first turn, Joker hopped up on Titan, activated, charged forwards 10 inches, and he has Mindless Monster much like Borgin does, which means if he ends his movement in base to base with the closest target, he gets a free attack action, which he used on Dementor. He also could have super jumped, so there was no way he was in safely far enough away. So all said and done, he's got Crushing, Devastating on his Blood Stun clause. So although it is Blood Stun, he is still getting 2 strength dice. and you need 2 defense dice to block each successful hit he had, and he used up that 2 extra dice on his first attack. Still only did 3 hits all said and done, losing 1 die to his light armor. 3 blood, 3 stun, but that was a free action, and as per the FAQ, it seems like you do still get your normal action if it's the same type. So then he did an attack action, because the first one was free, did the exact same damage even though he was rolling 2 less dice. But Dementor is alive. He's chunky, he's got 8 HP, so he's alive, but he is unconscious. Now, I think last time we had the owls on the table, someone said that because Reanimated Owl kicks in before recovery rolls, they actually just automatically recover at the end of turns. So he won't be unconscious going into turn 2, but he's very close to death. So at the end of Battle Round 1, there is no additional cards being put into place. All we really need to do is cover the cards in play, and as just stated, Dementor is going to count as being awake, apparently, because of Reanimated Owl. And I think that's the only one who can heal, yeah, because the Talon got killed, so Reanimated Owl means nothing to him currently. Of the cards in play then, Gotham is ours. Nope, it does not score, so that is gone. Owl's Night actually does score, because the one prey removed, the one target removed was prey. The Talon doesn't add into this one, unlike the Psychopath's card for the Joker, but because one of the suspect markers was removed via marking the paramilitary as prey, there's only 2 on the table, so the 3 from killing a prey was enough. So yeah, that did score. Unfortunately, the Court's Edict does not, and that means it's also shuffled back into the deck. If it does appear, then the resource can be used to bring the Talon back, which would be very useful, because the Court of Owls can't really be affording to lose one on almost 2 people in one turn. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to talk about the Joker card. The only one in play was the Stinky Fish. It doesn't look fresh. That does score as well. So here we are at the top of round 2, however, did forget to mention that Ephraim Newhouse's poison check was passed, so no damage there. In Battle Round 2, the Court of Owls will be going first. They're also playing 3 Phase 2 cards again. They're going all in on the Phase 2s. No cards from Joker's crew at all. Another Owl's Night. Oops, just throwing it across the table there. Another Owl's Night has it been put into play, so that will track the Court of Owls murdering people, and especially prey, if they mark anyone as prey, that is. They did another Gotham is Ours. We'll cover where the scenery elements were selected in a second. And the mission, the Talon's unique card, came out. Target a model with the Reanimated Owl trait. That model removes the current enemy boss or model with the highest rep cost in the gaming area. Ephraim Newhouse is being selected for that. For lack of anyone better that's close to Joker, because Dementor's probably going to go down. So this truck was selected for Gotham is Ours. Put the suspect marker there. This car, put the suspect marker there. And then the Joker crew picked that same tree, so it's been put within 4 right there. And as far as suspect markers go, Joker down here has it for the Joker crew, no one else does. Court of Owls, Dementor does have it, because they're going first, so he'll be the first up. Ephraim has it, and if we come around here, Gaggy has it, and Punchline does for the Joker crew. Oh, so does Thug 6 down here, that's there 4. And if we come over here, the Gotham Butcher does, and O'Malley's son does, the Court does not. So I think that covers everything we're supposed to cover. There could have been an owl marker moved when the casualties happened. Doesn't really need to, based on where people are, so with that we're just jumping in. So after a bit of umming and ahhing, Dementor activated as expected. However, he moved on Borgin, knowing that he's probably going to go down either way, and played as a resource a Talon's Claw again in order to mark Borgin as prey, removing one of those suspect markers that had been placed by Gotham is Ours. And the reason for doing that is, as tempting as it was to mark Joker, he'd be really tough to take down, and there's only 2 of them over there, so it isn't super likely. So he marked Borgin. Borgin is prey, and then he went after him with his claw this time, his poisoned claw, instead of his sickle, knowing that he wouldn't be able to take Borgin down, who did effort twice. Got him through 2 hits for 2 blood, 2 stun. He's desensitized, so he's got no risk of being unconscious, but did poison, which means he can score the I'm feeling weird before he's inevitably turned into paste on the floor. So the big man himself, Joker, activated. However, a small correction for the top of the turn. Joker's crew did have a Phase 1 card. It fell on the floor. I totally forgot. They had Let's Dance, so it's just a little bit of extra protection for Punchline and Joker this turn. So that is in play. Should have happened in Phase 1 when we were going over that at the top of the turn. That's what happens when cards fall on the floor. Anyway, for Joker's turn, he has reached 2. So from where he was, he initiated Felonious Assault on Dementor. The roll wasn't great, and he only got 2 hits through, all said and done, for 2 blood, 2 stun. It does re-knock him out, but it does not quite kill him. He has 1 health left, I believe, because he's got 8 health. He's pretty chunky. So he's got 1 health left. Borgin might be able to finish him off. And then he simply moved a little bit just to force Ephraim or Dementor to move if they want to attack him, doing the what is it pose from Dark Souls. No cards scored on that though. Ephraim Newhouse activated and rushed into combat with Borgin the Cursed, and Borgin did not effort, he can't, because he's lost all his willpower, he's only conscious because of desensitized. Ephraim did 3 efforts, but 2 of those were essentially just writing off the Enervating 2 he had, which was put into effect. So all in all, he was gaining 1 extra die with his Double Blood Sharp and Bleed 1, I believe, Scimitar. Used it on Borgin, got 3 hits through for 6 blood. That's exactly enough that Mr. Borgin is no longer cursed, he's just dead. And that scores Talon's Claw for removing a target marked as prey as a casualty, and that also puts 3 marks on Owl's Knight, which is working quite well. I think they're losing ground on this side of the table, but they're making the most of it for earning points. So Gaggy, brave little Gaggy, he doesn't care that the Gotham Butcher's there. He just marched up the table, put down another suspect marker, except it was a second Stinky Fish. He just got them coming out of his pockets. So another, it doesn't look fresh, is in play, and Gaggy just does not care. He's just going up there and scoring points. Well, Gaggy ended up paying the piper a little earlier than expected. O'Malley's Sun activated, moved into base-to-base contact with him, and then attacked with his Blood Stun Sharp Katars, I think they're called. I think they're called that. He has an Owl Knife as well, but the Katar also does stun damage, so it deters using efforts. Speaking of which, Gaggy did none, and the O'Malley's Sun did 2. He got 4 hits through for 4 blood, 4 stun. Amusingly, that would have meant that Gaggy was still conscious. He has 5 willpower, but he's defense 2, 4 endurance, so the little man has been annihilated and removed from existence. Then, using the free inspired manipulate from the court being right there, he manipulated the Stinky Fish, got rid of it, which means he's poisoned, but does mean that it doesn't look French, does not score. During his turn, he put into play another court secure bases, using the same L marker right up there at the top of the building, so that'll take down in 3 enemies' activations. So Joker's paramilitary with the rocket launcher down there activated. He had a busy turn, starting by stealing the Audacity marker that had been given to Thug 6, thanks to Chaos Agent Trickster. So he took that to use it, and he activated and fired his rocket point blank range, more or less, to hit Dementor and Ephraim. Just a normal rocket, not a poisoned one this time. 3 damage on it, and that is enough. The Dementor is out of there. Ephraim takes the 3 blood, he lived though. Then he moved next to the far side of a friendly suspect marker that was put there for Gotham is Ours. Used the manipulate from Joker being so close by to remove it, to score, so long as it's been a gas. Second criteria for it again. And the paratrooper, or paramilitary, sorry, up here was selected to have the friendly suspect marker put down and enervating 2. The Gotham Butcher activated and decided to try and go after Punchline. He got into base to base with her. He had 1 free effort, but he eventually put in 2 more. She did not, and he didn't do that well with his rolls, honestly. He had like 6 attack dice, she's defense 4, and got 2 hits through for 2 blood, 2 stun, meaning that instantly Let's Dance scores for Joker's crew because the sidekick has taken damage, and he didn't do as much damage to her as was expected. So sadly, she's still alive. She has 6 willpower, 7 endurance. Yeah, she's very comfortably still alive. So we zoomed way in to see that the paramilitary, with the last of his ammo on the roof there, unloaded it into O'Malley's Sun. 3 hits for 6 blood against the poor O'Malley's Son, and he is also out of there. The Court of Owls is running out of bodies. Did not have a seasoning the mix to score off of that because he was poisoned. Didn't score anything on it, in fact, but did remove a threat. So despite not having Audacity, the court itself activated and had a fairly busy turn, starting by putting into play another court secure bases because they're staggered by 2. After Thug 6 or Punchline activates, the first one is going to score. So this is another one in play for 3 activations time. And they did Shadowed Perch to teleport within 2 or 3 or maybe 4. Either way, teleport within the aura of an owl marker. So they teleported over here, and then as a resource, played the Court's Edict. It came back into hand. Target a friendly model with a reanimate owl trait that's been removed as a casualty. Place it within 4 with the alias the Court without any damage on it, then remove this card from the game. So this card is out of here entirely, not discarded, just gone. But the Mentor is back on the table, full health, for Ding Ding round 2 against Joker. So of the 2 remaining Joker activations, Thug 6 activated. His Audacity had been stolen from him, so he just walked up, did nothing else with his turn. That does mean, as just stated, the first Court Secure Bases has scored, so that has been scored. Now here's the interesting thing, all the courts activated, they've got barely anyone left, they're all dead. And the Joker crew still has Punchline. But the Court's Edict, the resource card, when you re-summon someone, it doesn't say they count as having activated, it just says they have no damage on them. So there isn't anything that says he can't activate again. Now he has already activated in the turn prior to dying. That's where it gets a little complicated. It isn't clear on the card at all whether or not Dementor can activate, because he's got reach on his card, or on his weapon. So he can hit Joker from where he is. It would have been a little bit more cut and dry if he hadn't already activated, but he did open the turn. You know, given that he has already had a turn this round, he probably isn't supposed to have another one. But if that's been made clear anywhere, check the FAQ and it's not in there. But if it has been made clear anywhere, official, that is, let us know and we can play it proper next time. But yeah, I think because he's already activated this round, we won't do it. Had he not, though, I think it would have been okay if he'd attacked. But either way. So Punchline was the last activation of Battle Round 2. She left a little parting gift over there for everybody. She put down a suspect marker, it became Explosive Teeth, and she rolled a 1. So on the first activation of Battle Round 3, it's going to move towards whoever that is, and then explode instantly. So that stays in play, it's not going to resolve this turn. She retreated away from the Gotham Butcher, oops, hit the tree a little bit, just back there, just holding her ground really. The Joker crew have even more of a numbers of, actually no, not so much, because they lost a couple of people this turn. It's a bit more even, kinda, with Dementor back on the table. But let's go to scoring for the round. So at the end of an exceptionally bloody round 2, the back end of the game is going to go really quick, as it often does, with just how few people are left on the table. No additional cards being played. Gotham is Ours does not score for the court, so it's discarded. Nor does the mission, the Talon's unique card, so it's gone. But Owl's Night does. They killed a prey for 3, they killed another guy for 1, and that means it's 4 versus, I believe, 2 suspect markers got put down by the Joker crew, so that does score for 3. And the other Corkscrew bases stays in play with 2 enemy activations left to go to trigger that for scoring. And with that, we'll go into the setup for round 3. So here we are at the top of round 3, the penultimate round, and for once the Court of Owls aren't the ones playing the most objective cards in Phase 1 or Phase 2. They are putting a Phase 1 in play, their Die Hard came back out, it's being played on the Gotham Butcher, which should have a much higher chance of scoring than it did for the poor Talon. Joker's crew though, we'll do it in reverse order. Phase 2 they're putting a Psychopaths in, would have been perfect last round, not as likely to lose as many people this turn, but I guess we'll see. And Showtime, Joker's Unique, is coming out, which we've seen plenty of times before, but you can read it there if you want, I think that's in focus. He drew in 2 suspect markers from the far end of the table 18 inches away. They're in base to base with him, and a 3+2, so in 5 activations time, as long as one of those is still in contact with his base, it will also score for a massive 3. Joker's crew got priority in the roll. Basically everyone who is still on the table has Audacity, except for the paramilitary up there in the building who has no ammo left and is fairly useless now. Gotta remember the teeth is about to explode as well with whomever Joker activates. So Joker got the penultimate round started and used a special action to let out a Lunatic's Laugh. It's an 8-inch bubble around him, enemies making attack dice rolls roll 1 less die. He has reached 2 on his massive claws, he used them on Dementor, didn't do too well with the roll, his 2 strength dice, because he gets to roll an extra one, both got through for 2 blood, 2 stun against him, just a little bit of bleed. But then, when he ended his turn, the teeth had to move, they moved 2 inches towards him, exploding right where you see them, meaning that the Gotham Butcher is the only one caught by it, but did get caught by it, so that means the Bite the Dust in play scores for 2. The court itself activated for the Court of Owls first this turn and started by removing one of the suspect markers Joker drew into him for the Showtime to mark him as prey, using an Owl's Tail's resource cost to do that. So Joker's now marked as prey for what that's worth. He then used they then used their tactical action to put down a suspect marker, which does fall within 8 of the deployment line for Joker's crew, so that scores 2 on Confusion. And the timer on Showtime should have ticked down to 3 there, so now be ticking down to 2. Thug 6 in the yellow shirt activated, moved very carefully to where you can see him so that he's just 4 inches out of the Stinky Fish, but within the big base of the Gotham Butcher to meet the criteria for a second, let them in on the joke. So that scores for 2. However, with the completion of his turn, the Court Secure Bases ticks up and has also scored for 2, so kind of write each other off, but that's fine. The Gotham Butcher activated and rushed around the corner into base to base with the rocket launcher wielding paramilitary guy. I don't think he has any ammo left regardless, but it stops him firing it. And he put down a suspect marker rather than murdering him purely to score some points. It is just outside of 4 of the one the court put down where he's standing, and he had room to give anyway. But that meets the criteria for the Shadow's Claw because that paramilitary has 2 blood on him, so that's scored for 2. And that means after the next Joker activation, Showtime scores. So we might as well just count that now because obviously a Joker crew member isn't going to sabotage their boss. So we'll just count that as scored now. I think there was one more thing to cover. What was it? Something forgotten from earlier. Oh yeah, forgot that part of Unstoppable Monster means that henchmen within 4 or people of the henchman rank in the enemy team can't do manipulates. Don't think it made a difference, but did completely forget. Well, that henchman, the paramilitary with the rocket launcher, decided to just scoot round the Gotham Butcher there, remove the suspect marker he put down, and scored so long as been a guess. I think he scored every single one of these. So, had to put down a suspect marker on a friendly. It doesn't specify you're allowed to ignore the normal placement rules, so the only one it could be placed by is Joker, so he's got Enervating 2 now, and the suspect marker is behind him there. Well, it's getting a bit messy over here, but it was time to try and take down the clown. Dementor activated, losing 1 die because of a lunatic laugh, but gaining +1 to his attack rolls from the court, essentially making Joker from, well, he's defense 3, but he counts as defense 4 because Dementor's attack 4 or strength 4+, comes down to 3+ essentially because of the +1. So he did 3 efforts, Joker did not, doing just blood stun, sharp with his sickle, and managed to get 7 hits through. He did really well, which is 7 blood, 7 stun. This Joker only has 8 willpower, so you'd think, oh, he's only 1 away. Nope, because of his really huge roll, 3 of that stun is written off. It's just gone. So he's halfway to being stunned. And the 7 damage is really good though. He only has 10 health, so it is possible that Ephraim Newhouse might be able to kill him. And if that happens, things will swing in the court's favour for sure. Well, Punchline had some planned, but there wasn't really room for her to put down a suspect marker, so instead she ran up here and tried to do some damage to Ephraim before he activates to help out the boss, and managed to get 2 of the last set of throwing knives she had, the poison throwing knives, through for 2 blood, and upped his poison to poison 2 as well. So despite Punchline's best efforts, Ephraim Newhouse activated and the clown is down. But that does also mean True Love Joker kicks in for Punchline, so +1 willpower, +1 strength I think it is. Either way, he went into base-to-base contact with his double blood sharp bleed 1 katana, or scimitar, sorry. Efforted twice because that's all we had room for. Joker did not because he doesn't really have room for it. And losing 1 die to Lunatic Laugh, getting +1 to the dice he did have, so essentially gaining just 1 extra die because he did 2 efforts. From Boss's orders, he also had +1 to hit from Weapon Master, which he has if he's using a scimitar. And Joker's base defense would count as 4 because his strength is 4, so essentially it was 2s because he was getting +2 to it. So he got him for 6, and that is more than enough based on how much he already had on him. He had 7 on him. So the clown is down. Titan Joker is not invulnerable, especially to bleed damage. He has lots of defense against willpower damage. But the deck did not have any cards for removing bosses, so it's just a bog standard, the final Talon's Claw, scoring on removing the Joker there. Worthwhile though, because he is scary, he was really good. Sort of new model syndrome, I guess, new card syndrome. Last activation for the turn is the paramilitary who no longer has any ammo for his assault rifle. He dropped down off the building and ran up there towards the Court of Owls spawn, hopefully to score some last minute points. That does take us to the end of the round, so let's go over the cards. So then about round 3, the Joker crew is now hurting just as much, or if not more, than the Court of Owls. Ephraim Newhouse is far too crucial to every owl list, sadly, not just for his counting a suspect marker that's friendly, but the rare double blood helps them so much. Anyway, the Die Hard in play on the Gotham Butcher scores for the Court of Owls, cheeky 2 points. Psychopath does not score, as best we could tell. Joker was the only one to get KO'd or casualtied that round, and the court put down a suspect marker, so it balanced each other out, and as a result is discarded. So with that, we can go into what will most likely be a very brisk and brief final turn. Dawn of the final day, top of round 4, the final turn of the match. The Court of Owls have snatched first activation back, so it's been pretty even actually. It's gone Joker Owls, and everyone left on the board has Audacity. They all have it. Forgot to mention in the recap of the last turn, Ephraim did take poison damage, so he took 1 blood from that, but Reanimated Owl also means he could heal it. And there's a phase 2 card being played by both crews. another Psychopaths card put in play for the Joker crew, which is now being led by Punchline. And the mission came back out for the court. Pick an animated owl, or reanimated owl, sorry, and then they removed the enemy boss and or person with the highest reputation. In both cases that is Punchline, so Ephraim is being selected and he's going to try and murder her at the top of the turn. See how he does. With that, we'll be back after that's resolved, because that's what's happening first. Well, Punchline had enough room to effort 3 times against his Double Blood Katana. He only had enough room to effort once. So with those 2 dice gone, he was only able to get the strength die through, and that hit for 2 blood. After his turn was over, he played They Must Know Pain as a resource to heal for 2 blood, just on the off chance they have a card that might score if someone who's poisoned is killed. So just to keep himself alive, he's playing that as a resource. But yeah, he wasn't able to take out Punchline, and even if someone else did now, that wouldn't score the mission, because you have to select a specific character. So I think the Court of Owls have ran out of ways to score. We'll see how the Joker crew does, and then be back with a conclusion. So Punchline activated, and she eventually just ran up the table over here, but during her turn, she's out throwing now, she just wanted to try and get to safety, or relative safety. During her turn, she selected this suspect marker, and did let them do their thing. You pick a direction, roll 2d6. It moves in that, hits people for 2 stun, and if it hits any enemies, it scores. Actually, is this anyone? Any model, sorry, so friendlies would have counted. It only moved 3 inches, so basically it popped right on top of Dementor, hit him for 2, and scored for 2. So the Gotham Butcher activated and decided to go eat the paramilitary with the rocket launcher, because as it turns out he did still have 1 explosive rocket left and could have killed Ephraim with it. So the end result is still 1 marker in Joker's favour on Psychopaths, but at least this way an activation and a dangerous weapon is removed. So he went all in with 3 efforts, 5 blood, 5 stun. He already had 2 blood on him. So the paramilitary is dead. They didn't score any cards on that. That was purely trying to deny activations and leading to more points. And with Dementor still to activate and the court themselves, they could both bung down suspect markers somewhere to help counter that. So as far as things the Joker crew can do, the only thing they tried to do is move Thug 6 here to try and get outside of 4 of that suspect mark there to put down another one, which would have scored I'll Let Them In on the Joke, the last one. But he can't get, with the movement, he only has 8 inches, he can't get outside of 4, so he can't do that. So Joker's game is essentially over, they can't score anything. The court can just end, Dementor could walk over here, put down a suspect marker, and that means Psychopaths won't score, so that's all they really need to do to deny that. So we're going to skip the end phase, because the 2 cards in play can't score, the mission won't score, Psychopaths won't score. It's just going to be who has the most points, and both sides did really well in that regard, I think, so let's go see who's won. So here is our final 2 score piles. Let's start with the Joker crew here and see what they got up to. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think the Court of Owls have this. So 23 plays 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 plays 23 in the Court of Owls' favour. They had a very good starting hand, which let them get a lot of cards out and just put out those potential scores. They got 3 targets marked as prey taken out in total, I think, including the man himself, Joker. Speaking of which, Joker Titan, obviously a lot better than the old one. Didn't get to see his full bag of tricks here, just because of what he had to do. He's definitely better against stun, as weird as that is, given that his stun is, well, his willpower is lower than his endurance. But that really huge roll helps him negate it, so does the like flies to me roll. He's still a little bit susceptible to guns. So he's not, he's not immoral. He's not super tough. He's not the same as your average Bane, like the Bane Unleashed, or the new Arkham Asylum version of Bane. Well, the remade version of Arkham Asylum Bane is also probably tougher and has desensitized, I think. But it's a fun and interesting one, and giving him Chaos Agent helps keep him viable, because you really do want Chaos Agent in general to help move around Audacity markers if you want to be tricksy. But that is going to do it for another battle report for the channel. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, please do consider leaving a like, and if you want to go above and beyond to support what we do here, consider becoming a channel member, checking out the Patreon, or pressing that thanks button. It helps out a lot, and it's all reinvested in the channel. Do expect to see an unboxing of a fairly large Black Friday order from Night Models, including the Arkham remake stuff, so we will take a look at the new Joker and get him back on the table again in the future at some point. Thank you for watching though, and until next time, ta for now.